nous allons poursuivre maintenant avec le sujet de l'alignement des équipes commerciales avec les équipes marketing. Et tout d'abord, pour en parler, donc, j'accueille deux intervenants. Aurélien Gohier, qui est Digital Marketing Manager Euro-West chez Dassault Systèmes et qui est également auteur d'un blog sur les thématiques commerciales et marketing dans le B2B. Et donc Jeff Davis, qui nous vient d'outre-Atlantique et qui est fondateur de The Sales and Marketing Alignment Summit, donc en plein cœur du sujet. Je vous laisse la parole et je vous retrouve tout à l'heure.
Okay, so good morning, almost afternoon, everyone. We switch to English. Hopefully it's okay for you. I'm glad to share the stage with Jeff today. So he came a long way here to share this presentation with me. So we're going to talk to you about sales marketing misalignment and the bad impacts it can have on business. So just a very quick introduction. I'll let you start, Jeff.
Perfect. My name is Jeff Davis. As it says here, I'm the founder of the Sales and Marketing Alignment Summit. To my knowledge, it's the first forum where we are bringing in executives of both sales and marketing to have one forum where we talk about how we can alleviate the problem of misalignment. So I'm excited to be here and share my insights from the research that I've seen and just help us get better at doing this, because we're all struggling, not just in Paris and France, but we're also struggling in the US too. So thank you.
All right, I think Laure did a good job in introducing me. I'm working in digital marketing for a big software company, mostly oriented to B2B, of course, and so I'm passionate about B2B. Yeah, it happens. So I have a blog about this. I invite you to have a look at this, but we'll speak about this a little bit later. So I try this again. Yes, it works. So why we're here today, I think that's a fairly important question, besides the fact that you needed an excuse to visit Paris, Jeff. But more seriously, I would like to start with a little bit of story. The reason why we're here, one of the reasons why we're here together today is that in October 2016, I had lunch with my former boss, also at a software company. And he just asked me, look, Aurélien, you need to build a 2017 plan, and I would like you to build something that is impacting positively sales and marketing alignment, because we're struggling with this. And I realized at this very specific moment that I spent 5 years with this company implementing different technologies and new processes to make all of this better. So the use of immersive technologies to improve the pre-sales process, data lakes. I had almost built with the sales team a brand new CRM, totally embedded with marketing automation system, so something that's supposed to make things better. And all of this gave me the same conclusion. All of this was moving very fast and improving very fast, except one thing: sales and marketing alignment. So I could see all this crazy technology moving on, people becoming more and more agile on all those topics, and still the bad impact on misalignment was still hurting the business almost the same way than 8 years earlier. So the point is, those guys are among the most brilliant, successful, genuine leaders in the B2B world in particular. And those guys, they have one big common point. The main common point of those guys I found is that in the last 4 months, they made public statements explaining how complicated it was to align sales and marketing. So we should feel better about this as marketer or sales people, because if those guys find it complicated and make public statement about that, it's probably because it's complicated for everyone. Brian Halligan from HubSpot, even this guy is by essence building a technology that is supposed to contribute to sales and marketing alignment. And even him said that it's complicated. And I believe that to start feeling better about this and to start moving on, we should just accept that a 100% aligned sales marketing strategy doesn't exist. It's just a fairy tale, and even if one day you wake up and you say, okay, today my sales and marketing teams are perfectly aligned, maybe the day after it's not right anymore. It's a permanent thing, you know. So yeah, I'm done with this one. Jeff, I think it's your call.
Yeah.
You want this?
So let's review some facts of what is actually going on in the market. So one of the reasons that I am so passionate about this work, I spent time in sales as well as marketing, product marketing, that sort of thing. So I understand what this feels like for salespeople. I understand what this feels like for marketers. And I think, you know, when you look at the statistics, they're a little scary. So these are the things that are happening, right? So Forrester has estimated that 1 million B2B sales jobs will be eliminated by 2020. That's kind of scary. And then also folks like HubSpot have shown us that this misalignment in the B2B space can actually impact the business as much as 10% of revenue or more. So this is no longer about just getting along. This has really significant business impacts, and unless you are taking the strides to actually fix this in the B2B space, you will not be competitive anymore. So let's talk about what things you should be concerned with and why is this happening. So I always joke and say 57 plus 5.4 equals trouble. 57% of the sales journey that people are going through is done before they reach out to you, the seller. The seller is getting more savvy, they have more technology, they have more information. So when they do reach out to you, sales and marketing need to come together to be able to react and give them the information they need. The 5.4 is that on average, any decision that's made from a buyer takes 5.4 decision makers. So why is that an issue? Well, first of all, I have more than one person, so there has to be agreement. But also, people change jobs a lot. So if I have on average 5.4 people and people change jobs every 1 to 2 years, I may be in a complex sales cycle where people turn over and I have to restart the engagement process, making things even more complicated. And then secondly, I would talk about the sales funnel. So the traditional sales funnel you see here is like your stereotypical upside down pyramid: discover, consider, evaluate, purchase, use. This is becoming not as indicative of what's really going on. In this digital age, our prospects are not engaging with us and then going through this process anymore. What's really happening is this continuous customer engagement model where we are finding them, we're engaging them, we're closing business, and then we're trying to grow. Most B2B businesses now are going to the subscription model where once you close business, it's not over. You want to upsell that particular prospect. You want them to buy again. You want them to become an advocate for the business. So this is really where we're going. And so why this is important is that we need the help of marketers to be able to continuously engage with prospects with the right and relevant content. And so as you go through this continuous loop, it's really, really important that marketing understands what sales needs from a content perspective so that that salesperson or that marketer can engage with that particular prospect. So this is where we're going, and it looks simpler, but it actually, because of the continuity of it, is actually much more complicated. So it's not all doom and gloom. I like to be positive, or what I call the opportunity of alignment. The Aberdeen study in 2016 shows us what good looks like. So what you'll see in the purple are companies that they consider to be aligned. There are a number of different metrics and criteria they use to determine that. And then what you'll see in the orange or the yellow is those that are not aligned. What's really specific for salespeople is if you look at the last 4 metrics, so average deal size, team attainment of sales quota, these are things that really, really matter. This is your world. So if I were a company in yellow or orange, I would be extremely concerned. Even more so if you look at things like sales acceptance of marketing generated leads and percent of sales forecasted, those are actually negative. So the year-over-year growth is actually negative. So again, this is what good looks like, and the difference between the purple and the yellow is extremely significant. It's a big deal. And so if you look at just revenue generation, like how much of a difference that makes just by aligning my organization. So there is an opportunity, a huge one, and I want to impress that upon everybody of how important and how much change this will lead in the organization. So why does sales need to align with marketing? So I want to talk about how we as salespeople have to change. So again, our buyers are becoming more savvy, they have more information. We can no longer go into them and talk about products and services and that sort of thing. It's just not enough anymore. And more often than not, most companies have competitors that have similar products or are doing something that is very, very similar. So Anthony Iannarino talks about this level 4 value creation where we're actually no longer asking prospects what's keeping them up at night. We are actually going to them and saying, these are the things you should be concerned with, and here is my product and why it should be your solution. So we are becoming strategic advisors. We're becoming trusted advisors. And so the salespeople that are getting it right and that are successful in the space are proactively able to go to their prospects with the support and help of content from marketing and say, these are the things that you should be concerned with. That's where we have to go if you truly want to be successful as a sales professional in the B2B space. Also, I want to add there is a study in the Journal of Selling, and so I always get the question, well, what impact does that have? Like, what does that mean? They did the study of a number of different companies, and they looked at consistently across the board what were the commonalities of business metrics that improve. And as you see here, these are the 6 that they saw across the board for aligned organizations. Again, significant stuff that I care about. Qualified leads went up, conversion rates went up, account acquisition went up, customer retention went up, order size went up, and then last but not least, revenue growth. So as a sales professional, these are all the things that I'm working to improve. And if aligning, my organization gets me that, why would I not put the effort and energy into doing something like this? It just makes sense. Oh, sorry, you got it. Uh-huh.
So we often, Olivier from Dassault System before just said that all of this needs to come from the top. And I really much agree from this. Any type of alignment might come from the top. I just wanted to mention that because it's very often, I think everyone has his responsibility, and I think that top managers should be promoting the impact of marketing, or at least what it should be, as well as the salespeople. Salespeople are closing the deal, they have a different type of responsibility, but just something I wanted to say before I start this slide. So I just based my thought on a recent study of Forrester that Jeff sent me, by the way. Thank you for that. What's the most important thing that as marketers we can do to better help our sales? They have asked those questions to I think 18 or between 18, 20 CMOs from the biggest company. People considered as the modern CMOs
and I would add, though, what's really, sorry to interrupt you, for salespeople, what's really important is that these are the things that in your organization, if you feel you don't have a good relationship with your CMO, that you should be asking for. And so that's why I'm glad that Aurelian is sharing this, because I think sometimes salespeople get frustrated because they're like, I don't know what to ask, I don't know what they should be doing. So I think this is super relevant.
So thanks. They have asked this question to those guys, and not very surprisingly, the top 3 aspects are customer opportunity acquisition acceleration. Number 2 is basically how, account cartography or whatever we call it in French or English, not sure. And also develop the right content to address the right audience. There is also one very big common point between those 9 points, as important or less important they can be, is that you cannot achieve any of this if you don't have the minimum required knowledge about your buyer personas. Simply saying who is buying and signing the contracts at the end of the year. I want to mention that because I believe that we need to stop one thing. We need to stop deciding by rule of thumb who we are targeting or who we are dropping this or that campaign to. And I believe that part of the problem comes of this big phenomena that happens between 5-8 years ago, not too sure, where suddenly marketing was aimed at generating lead. So you're a good marketer because you are doing lead generation. I don't know exactly who decided this, but we need to find some guild people. So I guess it came on us again. But anyways, I understand the point of having marketing more involved in creating opportunities. What I don't understand is that marketing has been spending so much time on generating campaigns, a lot of them unqualified, that at the end of the day, they spend a lot of time on trying to engage, not really enabling, or at least not efficiently. And that's not the marketing automation is not solving this. It's just giving more power to you to potentially target more people, but it's much more complex than this. So I developed sort of a concept of the future of marketing. I believe that the future of marketing or good collaboration between sales and marketing is the presence in the companies of one guy. We could call him the CPO, Chief Personas Officer. That's just an idea. The point is to have one guy that is ensuring 100% of the time that sales and marketing are aligned, is basically creating buyer personas, interviewing people, going at the client, talking to marketing people, and reorient the marketing actions to make sure they are consistent. And I believe no one is really doing this today. I know that in the US, there is the Chief Revenue Officer. He's supposed to be aligning sales and marketing, but a big part of his job is to work on administrative alignments, numbers, and I don't believe this guy is going to the client and interview them. And I believe that's something missing. So if it interests you, I invite you to read the article I wrote about this. I think it's just a funny context, but I think you get my point. One important aspect. As a marketer, I wake up in the morning and I strive to get credibility to my sales, to my boss. Maybe you saw this before. Olivier was here talking about sales. He has very concrete preoccupation, and I'm fighting hard to have lunch with my sales, to go at the client with my sales, to be credible as a marketer. And believe me, this is not an easy job. So yeah, I think we're gonna end with some key takeaways. Yes. The point is that, of course, it comes from the top. It's all about strategy. You don't decide it doesn't change overnight, sales and marketing alignment, but there are some simple things that we can all do to make things slightly better, I think. Yeah. So Jeff, if you want to start.
So I couldn't agree more. Through this presentation, we've talked a lot about strategy and some of the things that we need to do from the C-suite. I always tell people that until your CEO is on board with an alignment effort, it's not going to work. I also share with people that this is not a technology issue. So you can have all the marketing automation and all the CRMs that you need, but companies are doing that and still not working. So what's the difference? It's a people thing, right? And so as a marketer, I spend time in marketing. You have to start to build trust among sales and marketing. As a salesperson, we would get leads from marketing. We knew probably half of them, if not more, were garbage. So I now no longer have trust that you're going to give me what I need in order to be successful. And so it's really a people issue, and until we focus on that and fix it, it's not going to get better. So here are a couple takeaways I want to share with you as you leave here today. These are things that you can do in your organization on Monday just to get the process started that I think are very tangible and easy. One of the ones I love the most is inviting marketing to sales kickoff meetings. I tell people this, and they're like, wow. I'm like, why would you not invite marketing to your sales meetings? It seems really simple, but when you have a marketer come in and explain what you are doing for sales, it changes the whole perspective of how I work together and collaborate with sales. Most sales professionals have no idea what marketing does. They have no idea what marketers do. And so this is a simple way of saying, these are the things I'm doing to help you sell more. Very, very simple. The second one, review revenue pipeline and joint sales and marketing meetings. I always tell folks that make it about the pipeline. Don't make it about sales, don't make it about marketing, make it about revenue in the pipeline, and that alleviates a lot of angst between people. Create service level agreements or SLAs. This is just for marketers to say this is our commitment to sales, and for sales to say this is our commitment to marketing. It could be as simple as saying, marketing is going to provide 20 marketing qualified leads or sales qualified leads every month. And then sales to say, we're going to then contact 75% of those by the end of the week, whatever that number is. Just so when we start to review what's working and what's not working, we have some hard metrics, and it doesn't become finger pointing, which we're trying to avoid. It's about what's in the contract. The definition of stages and the lead to customer chain. I find that sales and marketing tend to speak different languages. So if we can agree on what an MQL is, what a SQL is, and have a firm definition, when it comes down to us not agreeing, we can have something to go back to versus just how I feel or what I thought, which again creates this whole toxic, combative relationship. Complete a data review to ensure you are looking at the same numbers. Again, sales and marketing don't always have the same data set. They're not always using the same systems. So you have to make sure, if you're going to compare what's working with the pipeline, that you're using the same data and that the data is good, clean data. I always say that the CRM is probably the Bible, and that should be the end-all, be-all. So whatever other systems you have, they should always defer to the CRM. So it's important to make sure that you're using the CRM properly and that you can actually extract that data and make data-driven decisions for the business. And then last but not least, onboarding, which I think is important. We don't think about the fact that we have a lot of sales and marketing executives that have been in their roles 15, 20 years that are continuing to promote the old way of thinking of, I'm a sales professional, this is what we do. And so when you have younger people coming to organization, it's a great opportunity to get them to think differently at that onboarding phase. Otherwise, you'll start to reiterate the things that we did in the past that's not working. So take the time to think strategically about how you onboard new employees and let them think and let them understand that they can collaborate with their counterparts, sales and marketing, and how they can benefit from working together with them. So I think that's it from my end.
I think I just stop and comment about improve onboarding.
Yeah.
I think you know that story of my previous experience where when I was hired as a digital marketer, I just spent a little bit more than 1 month following a salesperson. Following him, literally following him, traveling to Germany to BMW, John Deere, clients that I had no idea what they were really doing by truly, and it totally changed the approach. I mentioned credibility before. There is a big problem about this. Marketers, I don't want to be cliche here, but we're, young fellows out of the business school, and we are just have a lot of ideas. Digital is so cool and everything, but you can do that. But if you don't go to the client, if you don't know perfectly what the reality of your sales, it's not helping them. They still find you're a nice guy, but not you're very helpful on business. So I think every marketer should spend at least a month, and a month is nothing. I mean, if you consider that you stay 3 years or 5 years in a company, let's say even 2 years, 1 month is nothing, but it changed the whole game. That's the only chance I had to somehow raise marketing to a certain level of credibility to the sales organization, and it really had impact. Maybe I wouldn't be too provocative here, but even more impact than the marketing automation I mentioned before. It's all about human. If you don't keep human at the center, your tools are not going to be working at all, and it's going to be even more frustrating.
The only other thing I would add to that is that as sales leaders, and this may not go very well with marketing, but marketing's job is to help you sell more efficiently. A lot of CMOs will tell you branding and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, when I was a brand manager, I told sales, my job is to help you sell more stuff, right? So as sales leaders, take charge to tell marketing what you need. They are there to service you. They are obviously there to, create a market and to create awareness and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, marketing's job is to help you sell stuff. And if you're not getting what you need and you don't feel like you're being supported in the way you need to, let them know. Sometimes they don't know. And so it's a simple conversation of like, what you're giving us is not working. So we need to do something differently and have that conversation. So I think sometimes sales just gets frustrated with marketing and they say, I don't care. I'm just not going to do that. So I would implore you to take leadership and to let them know what you need.
All right. I think we're done, Jeff. Would you guys have any questions, any sort of questions about sales and marketing alignment?
Well, I have one. Do you think that in the future there won't be any more marketers and commercials, but only like a superpower marketer and commercial?
Remember the unicorn I showed before?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's your answer. It's never going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
I think they have tried, and I'll let you talk because I know you know a lot of things about this, the concept of VP sales and marketing. That's the first mistake, and that's correlated to what you're saying, is that how can we are all either sales or marketing, or a little bit of both. How can you imagine that in 8 hours work, you can achieve the same job of a salesperson as a marketer? This is just impossible. For me, those are two different skills somehow. They can be collaborative. You can have good sales knowledge, but still you need to decide if you're a marketer or sales. That's my opinion still. And I believe that those profiles need to be different.
I feel very strongly about this. So I've been in a couple startups. I have had the role of the lead for sales and marketing, and it is extremely, extremely hard. My MBA is marketing. I've been sales for years, so I have both skill sets, but literally I was doing like 3 people's jobs, and I would say that was I awesome at both of them? No, because I was continually trying to market for myself and then sell it, and then do strategy, and then do that, and then do campaign. It's too much. And so when people ask me, will salespeople become marketers and will marketers become salespeople? I'm like, no. There are things that salespeople can do that they uniquely should be doing that marketers do not know how to do. No offense. Marketers look at a long-term view. They look broad strategically. We need them for that. Salespeople are about having great conversations, letting people know, our product, making that connection, closing business. We should not be the same. I think that we should leverage each other better and learn skill sets from each other, but we should not be the same.
One extra comment, because you asked what's the future of. I strongly believe that the future of marketing, though, is this mix between engineers and marketers. I believe that the best marketers I've met in my life had an engineering background / marketing background, B2B marketing background in particular, because those guys, they have the mathematics skills to understand the technology. They know what they are writing about. So those guys are great technical writers. But still, if you teach them how to use marketing levers, those guys are the best. Even better than top business school that learns how to do marketing. Put an engineer, train him to strong B2B marketing, is going to be like this.
Thank
Just
you.
saying.
And also, too, I'm sorry, there was a question in the back.
Well, firstly, thanks, because I think it's a very important topic, and the insights were really useful. I have a question regarding customer experience, because we see it's a new function that is really taking a very important part, and for some organizations which do not have necessarily functions dedicated to customer experience, how would you include that topic into sales marketing activities, like to make it consistent?
So I think it's probably one of the most important things, right? So when I talked about that level 4 value creation from Anthony Iarino, a lot of that is embedded in customer experience. And so even if you have a great product and your service is great, if the experience of purchasing from you is terrible and there's a lot of hiccups, people just won't do it anymore, right? So you think about if you go on Amazon.com, one of the reasons that they're so successful, it's super easy to purchase from them. And by virtue that most buyers today have multiple choices to get the same products, what separates you, right, is that experience of working with you. Because if that's a terrible experience, I'm just going to go to your competitor. Even if it's sometimes a slightly subpar product or service, it's better than dealing with a terrible customer experience. So hopefully that answered your question.
And
Yeah, I was also curious about some metrics, like, for example, customer satisfaction or NPS, which are metrics related to customer experience.
I think there is a guy called David Hubert in the US. He's talking about the fact that I'm trying to link it to sales and marketing alignment. And the guy has a concept explaining that alignment is not sales and marketing. It's sales and marketing and product. And I think that's sort of what you're mentioning. If you have a good alignment with sales and marketing and product is not involved, even the pre-sales is going to suffer hard about this, because you're going to have to deal with some crazy products that people are not happy with. And even if the alignment is good, in long term the company is not working because people are unhappy. So I think you should go read about this. I tried to repeat his words, but I think he's going to do that much better than I do. So, yeah.
And I also would add to that too, if you truly are going to become a customer-centric organization, that implies customer experience, because part of that whole thing is not only responding to what customers need, but it's making sure that that whole journey that they go on with you is seamless. So one thing I would also add too, if there's any studies up here or any research that you saw today that you want a copy of, I have most of them, so feel free to reach out to me. I have my business cards and we can connect. I have no problem sharing that. I actually love getting information out to folks. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you guys for your attention. Have a good show.
Thank you.